Humanity is currently living under a global time spell. We organize our lives around artificial grids and digital clocks that don't actually correspond to the movement of the heavens. This disconnect is visible in our three most common starting points. We begin our civil days at midnight, in the deepest part of the night. We start our years in January, in the middle of a dormant winter. And even many religious traditions start their days at sunset, beginning the count in a fading shadow. These systems require the human body to operate against its own circadian rhythm. By anchoring our time to moments of darkness, we are functioning in a loop that prioritizes the night over the arrival of light. Resolving this confusion requires moving past these inherited traditions and returning to the specific order recorded in the first chapters of Genesis. In a world governed by the Creator, a day begins when light first pierces the horizon. Labor and worship occupy the daylight, and the night serves as the completion of the cycle, a time for rest before the next dawn. Bereshit, or Genesis 1, establishes that Yahuwah defined day as the light itself. He separated this light from the darkness before the sun, the moon, or even the earth's rotation were appointed to track it. This original radiance is the Or Ganuz, a Hebrew term for the primordial divine light that existed before the physical sun. In the beginning, time was measured by the emanation of this light, not by celestial bodies. Since the very concept of a day was defined by the arrival of light, any system that starts in the middle of the night or at the onset of darkness is operating outside of the original creation pattern. The shift from the existence of light to the formal measurement of time occurs on day 4 of the creation week. There is a critical distinction here. The first 3 days established the order of the world, but it was day 4 that established the authority of timekeeping. We cannot count measurable days or years until these instruments are officially set in place. On this day, the sun, moon, and stars were created to be vessels. They are not the source of light. They are tools designed to contain and distribute the light that Yahuwah spoke into existence on day 1. Genesis identifies 3 specific roles for these luminaries. They act as signs, they mark the Moedim, which are appointed times or sacred rehearsals, and they define the length of days and years. To track time accurately, we have to look at these celestial dials as they were intended. The sun and moon are the gearwork of a higher authority, not independent powers to be worshipped. The primary sign for the changing year is the spring tekufa, commonly known as the equinox. It is the moment in the circuit of the sun where light and dark reach a perfect balance. While many modern systems try to count the equinox as the first day of the year, Genesis 1:14 defines the luminaries as signs and markers. A signpost on a road indicates where you are, but it isn't the road itself. This is an intercalary marker, a day of transition that exists outside the standard 7-day week. Because it is a signal of a new season, rather than a counted day of the week, it does not interrupt the continuous rhythm of the Sabbath. If the equinox were counted as day 1 of a month, it would reset the weekly count every year, causing the Sabbath to float. By treating it as a sign in the heavens, the order of the week remains untouched. The calendar described in the books of Enoch and Jubilees is built on a year of exactly 364 days. Because 364 is perfectly divisible by 7, it creates a year of exactly 52 weeks, allowing every date to stay fixed to the same day of the week forever. To initiate this cycle, the spring equinox appears as a heavenly marker. The weekly count continues past it. We then identified the first weekly Sabbath after the equinox, bringing the old cycle to rest. Finally, month 1, day 1, begins at the following sunrise. If the year began on any other day of the week, the 52-week structure would shift, and the Sabbaths would drift through the months. By starting after the Sabbath, the 364-day count stays in a perfect, repeatable loop. This isn't just a mathematical model, it is the solar order that Yahusha observed. He operated within a timeline where the appointed days never drifted out of their proper seasons. Luke 4:16 notes that it was his custom to be in the synagogue on the Sabbath. He walked in this 364-day rhythm, rejecting the lunar-based systems of the empires that sought to change the times and laws. Restoring this count means dissolving the layers of tradition that have obscured the light. A day begins at sunrise, and the year begins when the heavenly marker and the Sabbath reach their alignment. Stepping out of the time spell is more than an academic correction. It is a decision to move in sync with the heartbeat of creation and the order established by the Maker of light.